The soft rustle of satin was the soundtrack to my stillness. I stood at the altar, frozen in place, a ghost wrapped in layers of ivory deceit. Around me, the silence was slowly shattered by gasps and murmurs from the guests, as the truth unfurled its ugly wings. He was gone. My groom of promises, vows inked in the sky, was nowhere in sight. His absence painted a cruel horror across the joyful canvas of our wedding. A call to his phone rang into the void. His absence continued to echo in the space where love should have been. I glanced down at the bouquet, now masquerading as a joke of vibrant betrayal trapped in trembling hands. In that moment of utter devastation, I decided to vanish from this mocking reality. I bolted from the church, fragile lace trailing in a disarray of crushed dreams. With each step away from the chapel, I sloughed off pieces of my old life, shards that lacerated my heart one last time before they fell away. I found solace in a quaint coastal town, where the whispers of the sea replaced the cacophony of regret. I became another face in the tapestry of strangers, shedding the skin of a jilted bride. My days were spent on the edge of the ocean, tracing the horizon, as if it held answers to a new beginning. The salty air became the balm for my wounded spirit, each wave erasing another fragment of my past. Yet, the path to reclaiming my sense of self was not immune to the storms of emotion. Nights were relentless, solitude a dark companion that gnawed at my resolve. I screamed silently into pillows, tears flowing with the rhythm of a broken lullaby. But in those moments, I discovered the surprising tenderness of self-compassion, a forgotten friend. Slowly, determination became my guide. I enrolled in creative writing courses. Words became my refuge and rebellion. In each poem, every story, I found pieces of a new identity taking shape. A woman who had learned to knit strength with the same hands that once clutched desolation. Years passed in the quiet company of renewal. Confidence unfurled within me like a stubborn flower growing through the cracks of adversity. Each day was a testament to the resilience wrapped around my once vulnerable core. I crafted a mosaic of experiences brimming with life and laughter, each fragment a tribute to self-love. As my pen wove tales of survival, I realized I was both the architect and the masterpiece of my destiny. And then came the invitation, an elegant card adorned with the script of nostalgia. A high school friend was getting married, in the same town I once fled. I took a steadying breath, feeling the familiar tug of old wounds. Yet, the woman reflected back at me in the mirror was not the shadow of her past. She was whole. I returned to my hometown for the first time since the ghost of the altar. The air was dense with memories as I walked into the reception, a symphony of curious eyes turning towards me. I held the attention of the crowd not as the forsaken bride, but as someone reborn from the fragility of heartbreak. As the night deepened, I found him, the ghost from my past, now flesh and bone. His eyes widened, surprise mingling with the weight of what had been left unspoken. I met his gaze with a calmness that had once eluded me. "Hello," I said, a gentle defiance laced into the simplicity of my greeting. He attempted apologies, explanations tumbling over contrition. But I had long since untethered myself from the shackles of hurt he had left behind. My response was not a forgiveness he sought, but a silent acknowledgement of closure. In my heart, there was no longer any space for bitterness, only room for the liberation of moving forward. As I left the reception, I paused to look back at him one last time. It felt like witnessing a chapter finally close, a book gently placed on the shelf of my past. I was no longer his ghost, but the author of my story, a narrative beautifully, wholly mine. And as I stepped into the night, the wind whispered promises of new beginnings, and I walked forward, unburdened and resolute.